One Charge Experiment by the Aerial Mentor. Introduction. Hello, I am Dario, and I am going to be testing to see how long my robot can complete my code with one charge. This is an experiment about my robot. I'm going to be making an hypothesis about what my robot can do on one charge. By checking that, I will be making a code for my robot to follow. Question: what can my robot do on only one charge? How long will it take for my robot's battery to run out? Can my robot complete my codes before it runs out of battery? Will my robot run out of battery before the code is complete? Will the bit conserve more battery or consume? Will my robot do a lot or very little on one charge? By testing, I am going to design a code with a lot of things for my robot to perform. Hypothesis. I think the bit will complete all the codes before it runs out of batteries. I think the bit will last for a good amount of time because I will not make the bit do a lot of things. By the bit not doing a lot of work, the battery will last for a long time. The bit will be able to do the code efficiently if the battery is fully charged. Experiment. For the bit to be able to still have a little bit of charge left, I will not make it do much. To make the battery last long, I need to make sure that the bit is not doing a lot of things to run out of battery. The bit also needs to be fully charged so that the battery doesn't run out quickly. The bit still has a good amount of charge after all codes were complete. As the bit completes all of its codes, I observe the battery and see that the battery is halfway full. Conclusion. I can conclude that by me not making my bit perform a lot of codes, the bit still has a good amount of charge. I can conclude that my bit used a lot of battery but still has a good amount of battery to do as many codes I want.
What Can My Robot Do? What Can My Robot Do by Evelyn Pedraza Martinez. Hello, my name is Evelyn, and in this story, I'm going to tell you about my experience. Hello, my name is Evelyn, and in this story, I'm going to tell you my experience with my robot. In this small story, I'm going to be telling you about my experience working with a robot. My question is, how long will my bot run before the battery dies? That's what I'm trying to answer. So my hypothesis is that my guess on how long I think my bot is going to run. Honestly, my best guess is that it's going to run for about half a day, like maybe 8 hours. So practically, I'm just gonna get a robot with 100% battery percentage and see how long it runs with it. I didn't get to finish doing my experiment, but if I did, I think the bot would probably last like at least 6 hours. So I tested it out and I was right. It lasted about 7.5 hours. It was really fun and exciting doing that experiment.
The Experiment About My Bot by Serenity Williams. Hi, my name is Serenity and I am doing an experiment about my robot. I'm going to see how long my robot can go with one charge. The bot I'm using is called Bit. I'm going to see how long the Bit can go with only one charge. So let's see how long the Bit can go with one charge. I wonder how long can the Bit go with only one charge? Do the Bit go fast? Do the Bit go slow? I don't know how fast or slow the Bit go with only one charge, but I will find out. My hypothesis is that the Bit will go for at least 2 hours, if not then 1 hour. I think the Bit can go for a while if it is charged, but I hope that it could go for at least a couple of hours. The Bit have non-renewable energy because the energy does run out. So now I am going to use the Bit to see how long can it be used with only one charge. The Bit is on and running and it has been on for more than 30 minutes. I think it's about to go dead in about 1 hour and 30 minutes. I still think that it will only run for 2 hours. Conclusion. My hypothesis was right. The Bit went dead in 2 hours.
Okay. Oh. We have to go to the first. Is that the first slide?
The first
No,
one
it's
is
not.
just like, yeah.
We want that. Okay, come sit in the shade so you can see your screen.
Oh, is it? Alright. Alright, the fun experiment. This is an experiment of a robot, like which move does it run? Does it run the battery quicker depending on the different move? Or just leave it on the same move and put a timer? So I'm going to test if different moves run the robot's battery quicker than others. The question. This is the question of the experiment. Like for example, which move runs the battery quicker? Like the tornado. What can the robot do with 100%? Which move run the battery quicker than others? The hypothesis. This is the hypothesis, a intelligent guess. I think that other moves that are more complicated run the battery quicker because it is harder for robots to move and it takes a lot of energy for the robot. The experiment. I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a full charged robot and test different moves. Then I put a timer for 5 minutes each and record each one to know how much each one spent. The data. This is the information of the experiment. I recorded that some of the moves use more energy than others in the process, and after there was no energy left in the robot. The conclusion. This is what I learned of this amazing experiment. I learned from this experiment that different moves do waste the battery quicker.
That's good. Okay. The shade.
Friction by Diego Alonso. I'm going to be. Oh, wait, what? I'm going to see how friction can affect the force needed to push the object this robot. I think it will go faster on smoother surfaces. How much can this robot push over different surfaces? The robot will have to push certain objects to determine the speed and force needed to push the items until it can. Experiment. I created a presentation of how it will be in real life, which it is. I used a table and some carpet to see how much will the robot need to get that extra force. You can see that in the carpet it struggles more. It was more faster on the table. The results shown that the table was more efficient. Conclusion. The force move extended on the rug. It was more difficult to push on the rug because it created more friction. Did you know that thermal energy is energy from the sun? Thermal energy.
But it's ready now.
How do you change the thing?
You're gonna click enter to change as you read.
Okay.
Sit in the shade.
Okay. Oh. The Bot Experiment by Diego Torres. Introduction. Devices that need electricity to work always need to charge, but how long can a little bot go with 100 charge without consuming any more electricity? Devices need electricity like phones, tablets, etc. With plugs, cables, electricity can be transferred. The question: how long can a robot go? Oh, The Bot Experiment by Diego Torres. Introduction. Devices that need electricity to work always need to charge, but how long can a little bot go with 100 charge without consuming any more electricity? Devices need electricity like phones, tablets, etc. With plugs and cables, electricity can be transferred. The question: how long can a robot last when it's on 100%? How long can a robot last with 100%? Will it consume energy fast or take a long time to consume all of the energy? Hypothesis. My hypothesis is that the robot will keep moving 1 to 2 hours depending on its commands. If its commands are effective to consuming electricity, then maybe 30 minutes through 1 hour. The time it takes for a device to run out of electricity varies depending on what commands the bot was given, how it's built, and what commands you give it. Experiment. When the experiment was conducted, it was close to what the hypothesis stated. What the hypothesis stated was a similar statement result to the experiment of the varying of the result depending on the commands. Data. The general info collected during every step is that it does vary what commands you give the device to die when it has 100%. Data is info you've collected during every step. Conclusion. So in general, the hypothesis is the same as the result of the experiment, and what we have learned is that the time when a device dies when it's on 100% varies with the type of device and if the commands are effective, electricity consuming or not.
So you're going to sit in the shade so you can see the screen.
Charge experiment. Charge experiment with a bot by Jocelyn Rodriguez. Introduction of the experiment. Hi, today we will introduce our experiment. Let's see how long it takes a bot to fully charge to 100%. Introducing what is the experiment we want to do. Question of the experiment. How long will it take for the bot to fully charge? Charge experiment with a bot by Jocelyn Rodriguez. Introduction of the experiment. Hi, today we will introduce our experiment. Let's see how long it takes a bot to fully charge to 100%. Introducing what is the experiment we want to do. Question of the experiment. How long will it take for the bot to fully load? The first question of the experiment. Hypothesis. Maybe it will take 1, 2, 3 hours for the bot to charge. Hypothesis is an intelligent guess that can be made by any adult or kid. Experiment. If I had done the experiment, maybe the bot would fully charge in 2 hours. Steps. First, I will wait for the bot to run out of charge. Second, I'll set a timer. Third, I will put the bot to charge. Fourth, stop the timer when the bot is fully charged. Data. The bot can last 2 to 3 hours and it depends on what type of bot you use to do this experiment. Explanation of the final results of our experiment.
You can sit down there in the shade so you can see.
What can my robot do? Hi, my name is Natalia Batres. Introduction. Trying to code bit for an experiment, seeing what my robot can do, loading and coding bit. Seeing what my robot can do with my first coding. My question. How many more loops than zigzags can bit do? Programming bit and then having her load. After loading bit, I will make her code. I will see what she can do with my first coding. My hypothesis. My hypothesis is that all the steps put together, my bit will be able to do them all. First experiment. Bit did more spins than 10. I programmed my bit and it moved. She could do it a couple of times. She followed all the steps. First movement. I made my bit spin 10 times and go left 2 times. Second movement. My bit went right 7 times, then spin 2 times. Bit went to the left 10 times after that. Bit followed all the instructions. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.